the
Why do
market.
why do humans feel superior to things, and they feel like it's a badge of honor
Yeah.
when they kill something and put it on their wall?
Oo nga eh. Well, actually, I just got, me and with Len, we participated in the Animal March yesterday.
Oh, there was. Wow.
Oh, there was an Animal March. So,
I saw that on
okay naman.
Facebook. Ah,
Yeah,
that went well, right? That went well.
yeah, it's a good start. Parang the people who attended, hindi naman siya in the thousands, pero it's a decent number. It's a decent number, and parang
What's important
expected to just grow annually.
That's how the Gay March started here.
Yeah.
The Gay Pride Parade started with hundreds. And then when they started marching 4 years ago, I think there were 1,000. And now there's 23,000.
Wow!
This year,
Ang dami.
23,000.
And simultaneous in different cities?
I only joined the one that's produced by the producers of the original one in Malate. Now it's in Marikina, my hometown. So for the last 2 years, Marikina siya. Last year it was 8,000.
How did it
now
go?
it's 21,000. 23,000. Well, it's fun. It's fun. You get to celebrate. In my case, we didn't actually get to that part in our history where it was necessary for us to march. Unlike the original Gay Pride March in New York.
Can you say that again? We didn't get to the part
We
of
never
history.
we never experienced that in this country where our rights. It all started with this. It's called Stonewall riots.
Yeah.
Because of the Stonewall Inn in Greenwich Village in Manhattan. There was a gay club there called Stonewall Inn, and then that's where gay people hang out. And then 1979, it was 1979 if I was correct, when a bomb went off. And sorry, no. This is in London. Sorry, where there was a raid and everyone was arrested.
Yeah.
And when you arrest
Check
people
it out
for
kayo,
when you arrest people for being gay, then that's trampling on their rights, and that's why the first march was called the Stonewall March, and then it became a riot because the police versus the people who were marching and stuff like that. And then that's also when they started using the whistle. They started using the whistle because if in that community, gay people are being harassed by the police, all they have to do is march and whistle, and then everyone would come to their rescue.
Ah, okay.
Yes, so that's why I belong to an organization called the Red Whistle, because we took that concept, but this time it's the fight against HIV and AIDS.
Ah, okay.
Because we're still on I think since the 80s the HIV cases, recorded HIV cases diagnosis in the Philippines have to date more than 4,000%. That's how exponential the 4,000%. Yeah.
Since when?
Since the 80s. Since it was since the first diagnosis of HIV in the Philippines.
Okay.
So we need to put an end to that. That's why our organization is called the Red Whistle, because we are doing everything to end AIDS.
Yeah.
A lot. The rest of the world actually have. Okay, so I'll tell you the number. Only Bangladesh, Sri Lanka, and the Philippines are the three countries in Asia who haven't controlled the HIV epidemic.
Aside from Africa. I think Africa is...
Sabi ko nga, how come yung mga countries na kasama natin were war-torn countries or used to be communist, and how come we're in that zone?
Yeah.
How come we're even on that list?
company, diba?
And it's there are theories about things like that, no? Which we discuss with our partners. Love Yourself is also is a big proponent in HIV testing and HIV prevention in the country. So with our group, we get to do a lot of stuff to prevent and to take minor steps in the ending of the epidemic. And in Asia, it's only in the Philippines that it is a youth epidemic because we have diagnosis as young as 13.
Wow.
Yes. And conversations in the past have especially with conservative religious people, have gotten me to scratch my head because some of them would even say, high school students don't have sex.
Oh,
which is a big...
That is.
And
that
say
is,
what you want to say, I think that's not accurate.
Well, it's
High school students,
we know it's
some
not
of them,
true.
they do have sex.
Oh.
And then we're trying to get actually the age of consent.
Mm-hmm.
In this country, if you want to get tested, you have to be 18 years old and above.
Okay.
If you're below 18, you can get tested by asking for your for a parental consent. Who would ask for a parental consent to get tested for HIV?
Okay. That's
So,
a block.
Yes. So I don't know legislative wise if we have solved the problem.
Wait. If you lower the age of consent for HIV lang, pero not for sex.
HIV tests.
For HIV
Getting an
test.
HIV test.
Pero right now, it's the same as the consent for sex. Is it ganun ba?
Well, that only matters for the age of consent in sexual encounters if you are an adult above 18 and you had sex with a person who's below 18, which means that's statutory rape, right? But that only matters if the person involved would actually file a case against you, and this is actually a totally different ball game because what we want now is to start them young on the HIV testing, because you get more responsible if you know your HIV status, which is either you're positive or you're negative. So if you are negative, you protect yourself, you take care of yourself more because you know you're negative. And it doesn't weigh as much on the heterosexual community as it is with the gay community, because
I want to ask you about that. Bakit mas is it true statistically that
gay men have more sex than their heterosexual counterparts?
No, that HIV/AIDS is more prevalent in the gay community.
Yes. The numbers don't lie. Men having sex with men are more susceptible to HIV and AIDS.
Why is that? What are the reasons?
I think it boils down to the fact that I think at least my generation, because it wasn't easy to come out in my generation, so it's easier to hide. It was more common in my generation than in the generations before me to hide in the shadows. And when you're hiding in the shadows, you do whatever you want.
Okay, yeah.
Because you're in hiding anyway.
Yeah.
It's not like
lubos-lubosin mo na, kumbaga.
And that's why it's easy to get some action. And I'm not speaking for everybody. I'm not speaking for everybody.
Of course.
But it's more common. It's more common that since you're hiding in behind, gay people, gay men specifically, it's so easy. Like if you've heard of this thing called Grindr.
Yeah, the app.
Yes, yeah. I joined Grindr. I reopened my account as an adult man of 36. I joined it 3 days ago to check what is going on.
What's going on?
I wanted to see what is going on. And since Grindr is a location-based app, you would get a lot of messages from random people who are 500 meters away. Where are you? Where are you? Can we hook up right now? And I was like, so that's
how easy it is.
That's how easy it is.
So
because you know who's close. And sometimes I wonder if I get messages because of they like how I look like, or because I'm the closest. I'm the one that's walking distance away.
Yeah.
And since I live beside the mall, a lot of people are in the mall. So I haven't.
Well, you are a good looking guy or a gay person.
Maybe.
Diba? So,
Yes. Okay, I believe so. I believe so. That's why I'm getting messages. But also,
Oo.
but sometimes I don't get that. Sometimes I feel like it's because I'm the closest. And
yeah,
and
it's
some
also-
of these people are horny.
yes.
And you see it in their names even. Horny now. Like, it's not even witty anymore. It's just horny now. It's absolutely stating a fact.
I have this I just got this idea now. Maybe just maybe okay, let's talk as adults. Ha? Wala na
Okay.
walang
Sige.
wala
Morality aside.
kasi maybe it's because kasi gay men kaya nga may men pa rin. So the natural instinct kasi with men is to be aggressive,
More sexually aggressive.
and the woman would naturally would choose well biologically men is driven to kasi both sexes are driven to
Let's talk about
propagate.
science. Yes, I want. I like
Yeah.
that conversation. The science of how
Of sexuality.
how men's bodies work and how women's bodies work. Yeah.
So ang instinctively, if that's even a word. So it's instinctively.
Yeah, man was made to procreate.
both sexes
Okay.
are ang goal niya is to reproduce.
Reproduce, yeah.
And men do it.
How come? Yeah,
men
how
want
come?
to reproduce to as many offsprings that he
Okay.
could.
That's nature.
That's
Yeah.
nature. That's why men are polygamous naturally. And
But
women,
but then again, heterosexuals at a very young age are trained by their parents that someday you'll be like me and your mother. You will have one partner,
Yeah.
get married, raise a family together. So even when I was younger, I was raised that way. That someday you will be like your father and me. And when I realized in high school that I am not like my father, I am a gay person, and I like men or boys more than women, it took a lot on me because part of that is accepting the idea that I will not get to emulate my father, who will find a person like my mother.
yeah.
So, the first instinct of a child who was programmed that way, that you will not get to do that. You will not get to be like your father. The first thing is confusion, right? Confusion and feelings of, am I an abomination to God, to nature? Am I betraying my family? Am I betraying my father? Am I betraying my nature? So the first thing is confusion. And then the next thing is, oh, screw it. Since, at least that's how I thought at first in my life. I'm not speaking again for everybody.
Personal
But
experience.
I said, oh, screw it. So since I'm not gonna have the happy ending that was programmed in me from birth, that I will get married, wedding, stuff like that. So I was like, since I don't have that happy ever after, because of my nature, which is alternative or different from my father.
Happy ever after in the
in a
traditional sense.
Traditional sense.
Diba?
Yeah, but
Okay.
what do I know? I realized I was gay at 13, 14. So what do I know?
So you're speaking with...
And I wasn't, and there wasn't anybody who was showing me the light. I didn't know anyone who got married, and any gay couple who got married. So during my it was this was in the 80s, I didn't have role models. Because if you didn't have your father and your mother as a role model when you were younger, in your childhood days, then you didn't have anybody. I didn't have uncles who were gay. There wasn't, the only gay on television were the roles being played by Roderick Paulate, and I was like, but I'm not that person.
Yeah.
I couldn't relate. And now, now things are changing because for the millennials and the ones who are younger now, they have Sam Smith, they have this, my friend, fashion designer Francis Libiran, who got married and who showed them that this can happen to you. You can
Yeah.
aim for this.
Yes.
So as young as in your high school days, you can start planning to find that someone who will marry you and you will spend the rest of your life with.
Yeah.
But for the rest of us, in my generation and the ones before, we didn't have that happy ending. We didn't think that was possible, and that's why some
For the-
people in my generation got lost in the dark.
Ah,
Went to these easy lay. I mean,
Yeah.
just to pass the time,
Mm-hmm.
just to find someone for a while, and then go back to and for some cases, it's very difficult because some cases they tried to hide it so much that they married women.
Yeah.
And that's why they have again a culture of living in the dark and continuing satisfying their nature.
Well, a lot of those gay men who married naman ended up, just to be fair, ended up happy, diba?
Yes,
Yeah,
and
so,
I know a lot, but then I know some who weren't as lucky.
yeah. Well,
who
it's just
who weren't as lucky, who instead of, and then we talked to them. They are in the Philippine HIV Center.
So these are
we met
HIV
one
patients.
we met one
Mhm.
a mother who has a son, and they're both HIV positive, and it's because she didn't know that her husband was a man who sleeps with men. And it was too late when she found out,
So
and
he hid,
and he passed away before them, and it's tragic, and it's tragic, and I wish them well, but I worry about the kid more than anything. And
How old is the kid when it happened?
when I met, I think the kid was born with it.
Oh,
I met him. I think he's 7 years old now.
Yun yung
Or the last
pinakamasakit,
time I saw
no?
him. Yeah, it's very depressing. That's why the thing that is in my life right now is at the forefront of my advocacy is really the HIV. The HIV epidemic. It's at my highest priority, because if you've heard or if you've read about it, my twin brother Paul passed away because of HIV/AIDS complications, and
How old was he when he
32.
passed? 32. Okay.
Yes, and the amount of pain was too much, because there was nothing you can do. You wanted to deal with your pain, and then you see your mother, and then you see your family, and then you see everybody.
Pain? Whose
Of
pain?
losing him. Of losing him. And
on your pain? You're talking about yourself.
me and my family's pain of losing him, and what even my family didn't see was when we were hiding it. And so I started the journey long before them, the journey of pain, because I went with him to the hospital. I went with him before
so
he
you
came
guys
out to
hid his
first.
sickness.
Yes, his diagnosis. We tried to hide it from our family at first, because
For how long?
a month,
A month?
yeah.
Ah,
So because I wanted, I didn't know what to do.
Well, you were syempre may yung yung stages pa ng denial.
Denial is such a strong tool.
And you're gonna be angry pa, di ba? So, mga stages na
Actually,
yun.
the first thing that the first thing that came to mind when I saw his diagnosis was, okay, so let's get everything in check. What do we do to get everything in check? What has to be done? So we went to the hospital and trying to keep a straight face, because I had to be strong for him. Because I cannot break down. If I break down, he breaks down. And if he breaks down, we all lose our shit, no? So I was trying to be strong in the whole process. And then I was asking him, when are you going to be ready? Talk to the family.
Okay.
Like,
You were how old when
32.
this happened? You're
4 years
twins.
ago. Yeah,
You're twins. We're twins. I see. Oo nga pala.
And at the time, we never had tested for HIV. It wasn't in my... I know it was very... I wasn't an HIV advocate then. I know...
So that triggered your advocacy?
Yes. Because if I can save one family from this pain, the pain is not the diagnosis. The pain is in losing him. And to a lot of families, early diagnosis is like cure. Because you can live a long life.
Yeah.
You can live a long life with the medicine now, with after all the HIV research, you can get it in check, and you can live normal lives. I have a lot of friends who live almost normal lives, because mas mahirap pa yung diabetic eh.
Oo nga.
Mas mahirap pa nga buhay ng diabetic kaysa
Talaga?
may HIV. You can eat anything eh. And you just have to take care of yourself.
And be careful in
Be careful.
spreading the.
And
Is it how about HIV research? What progress have we done?
There is a drug now called PrEP.
breakthroughs? Huh?
The breakthrough now in the last few years is called PrEP.
What's that?
PrEP. I forgot what it stands for, but PrEP is basically it's like a pill you take every day, every day to prevent yourself from getting infected. So even without protection, well, again, this is not something we're advocating that if you're on PrEP, now you can do unprotected sex. But the idea behind it is it lessens the risk of getting if you are a person who does unprotected, because some people they just don't do protected sex.
Oh, nga, no.
Yeah, and that's the reason why in London, in the last 3 years, their HIV diagnosis have been down by 60%.
Oh, okay.
60%, and they say it's because of PrEP, because that's the only thing that they started doing. And some of the people here in the Philippines are on PrEP also, so that's good. I heard it's somewhat much expensive, but still, it's nice that we have it here now.
Nice.
And I like when I check Grindr, because the last time I had Grindr was in 2012. 2012.
So it's been around since then. I thought it came out mga 2015.
Way before Tinder to, way before.
Nauna pa siya
Grindr
sa
was the
Tinder.
first.
I see.
Dating.
I see.
The first ganun kadaling dating app on the cell phone. Kasi before that, it was sa laptop, yung Planet Romeo, and Guys for Men.
I'm not aware.
So you need a laptop or a desktop for that. But yung sa phone app, na locator, it was Grindr.
So siya yung ginaya ng Tinder, basically.
Well, Tinder, I think, ang ginaya ng Tinder, I think yung Harvard connection.
Yung kay Zuckerberg.
Yeah, where you flip yung based on hotness.
Yeah.
Parang ganyan.
Okay.
So in Tinder kasi, you don't connect with someone that you don't swipe right. When you swipe right, tama ba? Yes, when you swipe right, it means you like the person.
Okay.
So if you both swipe right, you can connect with each other. So you don't actually, unlike in Grindr, where you can just be messaged by anybody. In Tinder, you know that it's worth messaging that person because you matched already.
I don't know kasi I haven't hindi ko siya
so hindi sayang yung effort mo. You know that mas malaki yung chance na you actually get a date or a good communication with someone because you both swiped right.
Ganun pala
Yun ang magaling sa Tinder. Yun ang magaling. But in Grindr, it's up for grabs. If your profile picture is there, you can get messaged by anybody.
Let me just go back to what I was saying kanina. Diba, I was talking about men and diba? So they were generally driven ang men to reproduce and wants to reproduce to as many
try
partners,
to fertilize as many eggs as possible,
yes.
And this is what science would this is
biological
biological,
instincts. Well, women, of course, the main goal is to reproduce din, pero they want naman the best men, the best men to get them pregnant. So that's why they're more choosy. Diba? So,
because
if you're gonna
you want quality,
you want
over
quality.
Quantity. Men want quantity.
Yes.
But females, they want quality.
So that's why they're not receptive to just any man. Kasi well, obviously they would be the one to carry the child, and it's costly, 'di ba? Compared to men, they could just swing, wala na, 'di ba? Pero the woman would need to take care of the pregnancy and then the child after. So ang laki ng sa kanya. So that's why first she needs to choose yung the best possible genes, tapos two, she needs to tawag doon, to make sure na he's gonna stick around. Ganun. So naisip ko, since sa mga gays man, ano nga yung
I'm sorry, what's happening? Ano
natin. Mag-hi tayo sa mga nanonood.
Hello, my sister, Ate Marie, hello. But how do I silence that one? Okay, volume na lang.
Volume na lang. Okay.
Hello, Ate Marie, hello April, hello Ignacio.
Philip.
These are my friends.
Yeah.
Philip, hello.
So,
Hi, Sunny.
so ang naisip ko is maybe kaya mas yung mga gays is since parehong men, the instinct would be to
well, a lot of people would hate me for saying this, but yeah, that's what I believe too.
At least something to consider, diba?
Yeah, I mean, it's if I'm 36, if I want to be honest with myself, that's the reason. That's the only thing that comes to mind. I've a lot of friends who are monogamous, and I love them, and I admire them so much. But I really believe that, you know, with guy to guy relationships, that's why. Someone asked me before, a straight friend of mine who keeps it real, who is very frank with me because he's really my friend. He told me, why are gays so lande? He told me that. Why are you guys so lande? And then you know what I said to him? Kasi nga, we can be real to each other. Sabi ko, we're malandi because we're still men, not because we're women. It's not the women's side. It's the male side.
Flirty.
That's the reason why malandi kami. It's because we're still men. Don't say na it's the feminine side that makes us flirty. No, it's the male side. Because, you know, guys flirt. Even married ones.
And
hello to my married friends.
And the guys pursue.
Yeah,
diba?
the guys
if you both parties would be pushing forward
Yeah.
Diba? Pero kung woman to females, they'd be waiting.
And you know, I hate that.
Well, that's just a general.
And I
of
know
course, there are people who are.
We're not allowed to generalize,
Oh.
but actually, like my friend Rio, if you're watching, hi Rio. I always tell her, how come you lesbians can stay at, you know, being with one person for a decade, and you know.
Oh.
I mean,
Sige nga,
we're the same age, and she's only had 2 girlfriends. 2 girlfriends, and I've had 7 boyfriends. And yeah, I mean, you don't want to compare, but something's there. I mean, loyalty really must be innate in women, and I know that's politically incorrect, but I don't care. But I really believe so. And I know, and I have friends. Again, I'm saying I have friends. I have gay friends who are monogamous, and I love you guys. But then you're outnumbered by the ones who are not.
Well, it is
Including me. I'm kidding.
It is a social parang choice mo na yun how you were brought up and your personal beliefs, whatever. A lot of factors.
Or maybe some people just haven't found the one, like me. Maybe, you know, we're still looking.
Yeah, also
You just have to give us, you know, time and don't judge us too much.
May pinapakinggan ka ba?
May pinapakinggan ba? Ang dami. I'm kidding. Actually, yes. If you're listening to this, yes, it's you. It must be you. I'm kidding.
If you are looking for love advice, you can.
Oh my God.
You can send
this
in
interview from fashion is now entering a personal ad, my bloody personal ad. Oh gosh, I'm pathetic.